Hello, everyone. My name is Bartosz. I am a customer support manager at Leon, and I will conduct today's webinar dedicated to managing flight schedules with Leon panel SCHED. You can ask questions during this webinar, which will be answered by Leon CTO Pavel and our front-end developer Marcin. Today we will cover the following. First of all, introduction, then creating and modifying the schedule. The third point is publishing the schedule. And at the end, we will talk about plans for the future with regards to the panel SCHED. Now, let me share my screen with you. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. First of all, let's have a look at the overall view of the main page of the panel SCHED. On the left-hand side, you can see virtual tails. I will quickly show you, for those who don't know, where you can create a virtual aircraft. So go to Settings, then a section Fleet. And here you can find a separate tab, Virtual Fleet. So this is where you add your virtual tails. And once this is done, you will see all your virtual tails on the left-hand side of the panel SCHED. As you can see, there are already some flights added. The blue color stands for unpublished flights, and the green color is for all flights that have already been published to the panel ops. Let's now focus on the menu bar. Going from the left, there's a refresh the page icon. Then we have from and to calendar. So this is where you can set up the time range. Another one is icon now, which when you click it will show you the current day right in the middle of the page. And then the arrows, the left-hand arrow going just 1 day backwards at a time, and the right-hand arrow going just forward 1 day at a time. Then we have zoom in and zoom out icons. So simply when you click the zoom in icon, Leon shows more and more details of the particular flight. Right, so right now, as you can see the airport of departure, the time of departure, flight number, airport of destination, and also the time of arrival. And by clicking zoom out icon, you can just get up to the 31 days, the whole month, right? So right now, as you can see, we have a full month view of all flights for the particular schedule. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Then there is a button Publish, which gets activated when you mark at least one flight. We will get to this later on. And another item is time zones. So by default, Leon shows here UTC, but you can select one of the time zones, which stands for bases created in panel settings. So again, I will quickly show you where you can define bases in case you don't know. Go to Settings. There's a General Setting panel. And at the bottom, you can create bases to which then you can assign crew and your fleet. So once this is defined, you will be able to view your flights depending on which time zone and the base you select. Okay, so I'll quickly show you this. I'll just zoom in a little bit. Here we go. So as you can see, this is a Warsaw-Amsterdam flight, 12 to 14. If I select Warsaw, automatically we have 14 to 16. If I select Wnukowo, we have 15 to 17. Right, so this is how you can use it. And also on the right-hand side, in the top right corner, there's a 3-dot filter allowing you to select either the ICAO or IATA airport codes. Now, let's get to the adding new schedule. Just click this new schedule button at the bottom, and Leon will show a new pop-up window. So this is where you select the time range. So let's create a schedule for the whole July. So now I will select one of my virtual aircraft. Rotation, whether the flights should get repeated every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. You can select the trip type. So it can be pax charter, it can be flight for owner, it can be cargo flight, as well as the ICAO type of the trip. Right from this panel, you can assign a client, if of course you have clients stored in the phone book. So type 3 or 4 letters of your client's name or the company's name, and you can assign the client straight away. And then you mark days of the week for which this schedule should get repeated. So it can be Monday to Friday, it can be weekend schedule, Saturday to Sunday, it can be 7 days a week. Plus, you can define if the schedule should be commercial or not. And now let's add a schedule. So I will add a flight number, time of departure, airport of departure, airport of destination, let's say Porto, and time of arrival. You can add alternate airport. It's not necessary, but you can do it. So let's say Lisbon. And if you click on the distance field, Leon will show you the distance in nautical miles. If the leg is a ferry, then just don't forget to mark the checkbox ferry. And by clicking the plus icon, you can add another leg. If you select day shift +1, then of course the schedule is moved by 1 day ahead. And yeah, so by clicking the rubbish bin icon, of course, you remove the leg. For now, I will just leave one leg to show you then how to add pairings. So let's click Add Schedule now. And as you can see, this is the first 2 legs of my schedule. Flight number ABC, departing arriving to Porto. If you click it, Leon will show at the bottom full details of this flight. And of course, to see more days, just click zoom out icon, and then you will see as many days as you want. Deleting the schedule is as easy as adding it. So if you want to delete, let's say, the first 3 legs of this schedule, just mark the first one, and then you can press the shift key on your laptop and mark the last one. So Leon will mark the 3 in a row. If you want to mark, let's say 6, do the same, right? You can also use key control on your laptop to mark random flights. So mark the first one, and then press control, mark the 3rd one, the 5th one, and click delete. So Leon will show you those selected flights, and all you got to do is just to confirm deleting. The Select Flights button, which is right in between the new schedule and the Modify Flights, allows you to filter the flights by either the time range or days of the week or aircraft or flight number or airports. So on the right-hand side, Leon shows all flights of every single schedule added. So you can, of course, right now from here, you can sort of unmark not needed flights, or you can use the left-hand side of this pop-up window and select the period of time. So let's, for example, select 1st of July till the 10th of July. Here we go. And let's say that we're interested only about the weekend flights, so Saturday and Sunday. So right now I have those flights for all tails, but I'm interested only in the flights on this particular aircraft. So this is how you can filter your all the flights for already other schedules. The other way of sort of selecting flights which should be modified is using the Modify Flights button. So you can again mark flights which should get modified. So I will mark the first 3 flights of my schedule. And by clicking Modify Flights, Leon shows a similar pop-up window, just with different options. So on the right-hand side, again, we see the selected flights. And on the left-hand side, there's quite a few options to modify selected schedule. So let's start with the shift. The shift can be used if you want to move the whole schedule by a particular value. So for example, this schedule is 12 to 15, and I want to move it to be from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So all I got to do is just type 1 hour, which means shifting by 1 hour. And yeah, so right now, if I get back to Modify Flights, as you can see, the schedule has got changed. So this is shifting sort of forward. So shift it backwards, let's say again, coming back to 12 o'clock to 1500. Let's type -1 hour, click Save. And now we're back to the schedule 12 to 3 p.m. Shifting by changing the block time value is also possible. So right now my block time, as you can see, is 3 hours. If I want to increase it to 3 hours and 15 minutes, all I got to do is just type this value, click Save, and Leon moved the time of arrival by 15 minutes. Then, of course, you can change the virtual aircraft. You can change the flight number, for example, from ABC to DEF. Right? So, quick change. And now we have a DEF flight number. Airport of departure and destination also can be changed. The alternate airport can be changed in distance, and you can also change here from ferry to non-ferry flight. Right. Now, the next step is adding pairings. Sorry, that's why I just left a single flights over here. So I will now mark, let's say, 5 first legs of my schedule, and by going back to Modify Flights, but selecting Pairings tab, Leon shows me a sort of new pop-up window with new options. Again, on the right-hand side, you can see those selected flights. So for my new flight, I can change the trip type if necessary. I can mark it as non-commercial, and also I can select a different client or the same one. So let's quickly add a new flight. So let's maybe go from 17 and then from Porto to Geneva. Okay, confirming. And as you can see, these are my new flights. So now we have a pairings. So we can now modify them, or we can go back to pairings and add another one. So let's quickly add another one. So I will add a flight from Geneva back to Warsaw. And as you can see, now we have the flights Warsaw-Porto, Porto-Geneva, and Geneva-Warsaw. So this is how you add pairings. And now it's time to publish selected flights. So let's just maybe select the flights for the first 2 days of my schedule. All you got to do is just mark them and click publish. And right now, Leon shows a new pop-up window where you can either leave the aircraft unchanged, so you can publish the flights to the virtual aircraft, to the section ops, and then in ops panel you can just modify those flights and change virtual tail into the existing aircraft, or you can select from the drop-down box straight away the existing tail. So this is what I'm going to do now. So I'm just selecting the existing aircraft. So the lighter shade of green means that the publication is in process. And then after a few seconds, so right now, there's a proper green color, meaning that those 6 legs have been published to ops. If you sort of click outside those flights and then mark at least one flight, Leon will show a new button showing ops. Okay, so if I go to show in ops now, Leon will transfer me to the ops panel, showing all 3 legs of that first day, which I published to ops. Yeah, so this is my trip of my schedule. Of course, you can make changes here as well. So let's say I will modify the time of departure and also time of arrival. I will modify the last leg as well. Okay, and now I will just save it. And if I go back now to the SCHED panel, which for which I will use the show in SCHED button available. Yep. So here is my the 3 legs of my schedule, which I changed. Yeah. So as you can see, here are the change details of my schedule. Right. So you can then, of course, you can keep publishing. You can publish another day, or let's say 3 days in a row, or by zooming out and viewing the whole month, you can mark the first flight, which haven't been published yet, mark the last one, and then you can publish every single leg of the already added schedule. Yeah, so Leon shows all my all the legs of that schedule. So I will click publish now. So all legs are now being published. In a few seconds, they will turn proper green. Here we go. So one by one, they're getting published. That takes a few seconds, of course, because there's quite a few of them. Yep. So as simple as that. As to the plans for the SCHED panel, the first step will be adding an option to send SSM messages straight from the panel SCHED. So this will allow connecting Leon with systems like DCS, which stands for Departure Control System. Then we also have in plans to make possible creating checklist while adding pairings. So first of all, to be able to add slots for some series of flights. And also, once this is done, we are planning to add also an option of adding handling agents to series of flights. And then, of course, we will keep improving this panel, keep modifying this so that it just meets all your needs. Yeah, that will be it, guys. Thank you very much for attending, and I hope we will all see again during the next webinar, which we will announce very soon. Thank you very much for your attention. Stay healthy.